The arena was enormous, stretching for miles under a sky that shimmered with strange colors. Floating platforms carried spectators from countless worlds, their eyes fixed on the open battlefield below. Flags and banners of alien empires waved in the warm wind, each one proclaiming the pride of its people. In the center, a circle of glowing energy marked the fighting zone, a stage where legends were made and lives could be lost in a heartbeat. Lyrana stepped onto the arena floor with her usual grace, her long armored boots clicking against the polished metal. She was tall, stronger than most of her kind, and her sharp eyes gleamed with a mix of pride and amusement. Every movement she made spoke of confidence and years of training in the deadliest battlefields across the galaxy. When she looked at the human contingent lined up on the other side of the arena, she could not hide her laughter. Humans were smaller. Their armor looked simple and their weapons seemed primitive compared to the high-tech gear her opponents usually carried. She raised one hand, signaling to the crowd. "Look at them," she said, her voice carrying across the arena. "This species calls themselves warriors? I have seen rocks fight better than these humans." Some of the crowd cheered her words, amused by her arrogance. Others whispered among themselves, curious if anyone could survive against the elite warrior Lyrana. The humans did not flinch. Their commander, a man with sharp blue eyes and a steady posture, stepped forward. He carried a sword, long but clearly well used, its edges worn yet sharp. He was Captain Elias Rourke, known for his leadership and courage, though the galaxy knew little of his skill. Lyrana's lips curled into a smile. "One of you," she said, pointing at him. "Come forward. Show me the strength of your species." Elias walked calmly to the center of the arena. He did not shout, he did not swing his weapon dramatically, and he did not show fear. He simply held his blade at his side, waiting. Lyrana's eyes narrowed. This human did not tremble, did not beg, and did not even try to impress her with fancy moves. Instead, he looked at her with a quiet determination that annoyed her more than any show of fear could. "You really think you can fight me?" Lyrana asked, her tone mocking. Elias said nothing. He only tightened his grip on the blade and adjusted his stance. He did not need words. Lyrana knew then that the humans, though small and seemingly weak, had a spirit unlike any other. The signal sounded. A wave of energy swept over the arena, marking the start of the duel. Spectators leaned forward in their floating platforms, ready to watch a performance of speed and skill. Lyrana raised her weapon, a long, curved energy blade that glowed like liquid light. She moved first, rushing toward Elias with the precision and speed of a panther. Elias did not move back. Instead, he sidestepped, letting her momentum carry her past him. He swung his sword once, a simple arc, but Lyrana blocked it easily with her energy blade. The clash of metal echoed across the arena and sparks flew. "You rely on tricks and speed," Lyrana said, circling him. "I have seen worse dancers," Elias replied only with his actions. He darted left, then right, moving unpredictably. Lyrana tried to anticipate his attacks, but he was different. He did not follow patterns. He did not rely on raw strength. Instead, he used his mind, his instincts, and his understanding of timing. Every move seemed simple but calculated, and Lyrana realized she had underestimated him. The crowd gasped as Elias deflected another strike, this time using the flat side of his sword to send her energy blade spinning. For a moment, Lyrana stumbled. She had fought hundreds of skilled warriors, but humans were unusual. They did not fear, they did not panic, and they did not fight in predictable ways. "You surprise me," Lyrana admitted, though she tried to keep her pride intact. "But I am far stronger than you. Do not forget that." Elias raised an eyebrow but made no reply. He focused entirely on the duel. His eyes were calm, clear, and unwavering, and Lyrana felt a strange sensation she had not felt in years. Uncertainty. She struck again, faster this time, unleashing a series of slashes and thrusts designed to overwhelm. Elias moved with the precision of a practiced fighter, dodging and blocking, his blade flashing in the arena lights. The fight became a dance of metal and energy, a clash of two very different approaches to combat. One relied on raw power, the other on strategy and adaptability. As they moved, Lyrana noticed small details she had overlooked at first. Elias did not swing wildly. He did not rely on brute strength. He used leverage, timing, and the terrain. Every step, every shift of his body was meant to counter her strength and create an opening. "Impressive," Lyrana muttered under her breath, though she knew the crowd could hear her. the audience murmured in surprise. A human was holding his own against the most feared warrior of the Karath Empire. The duel continued, each second more intense than the last. Sparks flew, metal clashed, and the energy of Lyrana's blade lit the arena with blinding light. Sweat ran down her forehead, and she could feel the strain in her muscles. For the first time in many years, she faced an opponent who did not rely on fear and intimidation. She faced one who used skill, courage, and intelligence. At one point, Elias feinted a strike to the left, then suddenly pivoted, moving behind her. Lyrana turned, swinging her blade with all her strength. Elias blocked it with the tip of his sword, and the force of the blow sent a shockwave through her arms. She took a step back, breathing heavily. "You are not what I expected," she admitted, her pride warring with her growing respect. "Humans, you are different." Elias said nothing. He only adjusted his grip, ready for her next move. He did not gloat. He did not mock. He fought with focus and determination without arrogance. Lyrana circled him, studying his movements. She noticed his calmness, his confidence, and the way he adapted to her attacks. Every strike, every defense was a lesson in patience and cleverness. She had fought many warriors in her life, but few had made her feel so challenged. The crowd was silent now, watching every move with bated breath. They had come expecting a quick victory for the Karath champion. Instead, they were witnessing something unusual, a human standing tall, not just surviving but matching the elite warrior in skill and courage. Lyrana's mind raced. She could increase her power, call on advanced techniques, and overwhelm him. But something made her hesitate. She could sense the human spirit, a quality rare among the galaxy's fighters. It was not just skill. It was resolve, intelligence, and a refusal to bow to fear. Another strike from Lyrana, sharper and faster, came toward Elias. He sidestepped and, with a clever twist, brought his blade against hers. The metal clashed again, sparks flying, and Lyrana felt the surprising force of his skill. You are no ordinary human," she said, her voice a mix of frustration and awe. Elias finally spoke, his voice calm and steady. "We fight not to show weakness or power. We fight to protect what we value." Lyrana paused for a moment, considering his words. Humans were often dismissed as weak, simple, or fragile. Yet here was one holding his own against her, and speaking with a wisdom she had rarely encountered in warriors across the galaxy. The signal for the round ended, sending a pulse of energy that temporarily separated the fighters. Lyrana stepped back, breathing heavily, her pride slightly bruised but her respect growing. Elias lowered his blade, standing ready, calm and composed. The spectators erupted into cheers and applause. Aliens from countless worlds whispered in astonishment. The humans, often ridiculed, had shown courage, skill, and resilience. Lyrana could not ignore the truth. She had underestimated them, and the human before her was exceptional. As the energy pulse faded and the arena prepared for the next round, Lyrana's eyes met Elias's. She saw not arrogance, not fear, but determination. And in that look she realized something profound. This fight would be unlike any she had faced before. For the first time, the champion of the Karath Empire was uncertain, not of her strength but of her assumptions. And the human, with nothing but a simple blade and unwavering spirit, had already begun to change the course of her thoughts and perhaps the perception of humans across the galaxy. The duel was only beginning, and both warriors knew that the next encounter would push them to their limits. But in the quiet moments before the clash, a seed of respect had been planted, a seed that could grow into a bond that the galaxy had never imagined. Lyrana scoffed less now, and for the first time she wondered if humans were not just survivors, but something much more. The arena's energy walls pulsed with anticipation as the second round began. Lyrana adjusted her stance, her armor glinting under the shimmering sky, her energy blade humming with power. She had underestimated the humans in the first round, and the realization stung, but she was not one to falter. Not in front of thousands of spectators, and not when her pride demanded perfection. Elias Rourke stood at the center of the arena, gripping his worn blade firmly. It was not a weapon of advanced technology or alien alloy. It had no glowing edges, no energy shields, nothing to intimidate a champion of the Karath Empire. And yet it held something far more dangerous, a mind that understood combat as a game of strategy, patience, and timing. "Are you ready?" Lyrana asked, her tone sharp but less mocking than before. Elias did not speak. He only nodded slightly, his eyes calm, his posture unshakable. That simple gesture seemed to irritate Lyrana more than any words could. How could someone so small and seemingly simple stand so firm? She shook her head, forcing herself to focus. The signal sounded again. A ripple of energy swept across the arena, marking the start of the duel. This time both combatants moved with full intent. Lyrana charged, her blade a streak of light faster and more powerful than before. Elias met her advance with a sidestep, letting her momentum carry her past him, then spun and brought his sword in a precise counter. The clash echoed like thunder. Sparks flew in every direction. Lyrana's energy blade met Elias's steel sword, and the force of impact sent a shock through her arms. For a moment, the crowd held its collective breath. No champion had ever been met with such perfect timing by a human. "You have learned quickly," Lyrana said through gritted teeth, circling him cautiously. "But I am far stronger than you. Do not think that speed or cleverness will save you." Elias responded with action rather than words. He moved again, a series of feints and sidesteps that made it impossible for Lyrana to predict his attacks. Each strike was calculated, each block deliberate. He did not waste energy, and he did not rely on brute force. The audience gasped in awe. Humans had always been considered weak and fragile, not warriors capable of facing champions. But Elias proved otherwise. Every block, every dodge, every counterattack revealed a mind capable of seeing patterns, understanding weakness, and exploiting openings. Lyrana's brow furrowed. This human strength did not lie in raw power, but in something she had never truly appreciated: human ingenuity. She had faced warriors with strength, speed, and deadly skills, but few had the combination of patience, observation, and cleverness Elias displayed. A sharp attack came from Lyrana, aimed at Elias's side. He twisted his body, letting the blade graze past him, then countered with a swift strike to her lower guard. Lyrana parried, feeling the unexpected force behind the blow. She took a step back, her pride warring with her growing respect. "Not bad," she admitted aloud, though her tone carried a mix of irritation and fascination. "You fight differently than anyone I have faced." Elias made no reply. His focus was absolute. He shifted his weight, adjusting to her rhythm, predicting her strikes not with brute strength but with calm observation. Lyrana realized he was reading her movements, studying her patterns and responding almost instinctively. For the first time, she felt the pressure of uncertainty. The champion of the Karath Empire, trained to overpower and dominate, was now being challenged in ways she had never experienced. Elias's human mind did not rely on fear, intimidation, or flashy techniques. It relied on understanding, on patience, on courage. She attacked again, faster this time, combining strikes and thrusts in a flurry of energy. Elias met each one with skillful blocks and timely dodges, his movements almost like a dance. Every time Lyrana thought she had an opening, he shifted, deflected, and countered. The crowd erupted, cheering this unexpected spectacle. "You are persistent," Lyrana said, her voice rising slightly as she circled him, searching for a weakness. "And clever. Cleverer than most would dare to be." Elias's eyes never left hers. He made a small movement, stepping slightly to the side, and then thrust his blade forward, not to injure, but to test her reflexes and balance. Lyrana parried, feeling a strange respect for this human she had once mocked. The duel grew more intense. Lyrana increased her speed, her strikes becoming sharper, more complex. She pushed Elias to his limits, expecting him to falter. Yet with every move, Elias adapted. He blocked, dodged, countered, and sometimes even forced her to step back. He was small, but he was fearless. He was human, but he was extraordinary. "Humans," Lyrana muttered almost to herself. "You are not what I expected." Elias adjusted his stance, a silent signal that he was ready for her next move. He was calm, collected, and unyielding. Lyrana realized something important. He did not fight to show off, to dominate, or to prove superiority. He fought because he had a purpose. He fought because he believed in something beyond victory. A sudden strike from Lyrana caught Elias off guard for just a moment. She felt a thrill of triumph, but it was fleeting. Elias recovered instantly, countering with a move that made Lyrana stumble slightly. She barely regained her balance, and the crowd gasped again. "Impressive," she admitted aloud, her voice carrying over the cheers.
"I have not faced an opponent like you in many cycles," Elias did not answer.
His focus remained unwavering. He knew that words were not necessary. Action spoke louder than speech, and every strike, every dodge, and every block showed his skill and determination. Lyrana pushed harder, using techniques she rarely had to employ outside the elite arenas. Her energy blade became a whirlwind of light and power, each strike designed to overwhelm. But Elias adapted, his human mind analyzing, predicting, and countering. He did not match her strength with strength, but he matched it with wit, timing, and courage. The arena seemed to hold its breath as the two warriors danced their deadly dance. Aliens from countless worlds whispered among themselves. This was not just a fight. It was a demonstration of human potential. Humans, long underestimated and mocked, had proven that courage, intelligence, and resilience could rival even the mightiest of warriors. Lyrana felt a mixture of frustration and admiration. She had entered the arena expecting an easy victory, ready to humiliate her opponents. But this human was different. Elias was not just a fighter. He was a strategist, a thinker, a warrior in the truest sense. And for the first time in her life, Lyrana questioned her assumptions about an entire species. She attacked again, faster than before, her strikes a blur of energy. Elias met each one with precision, his movements fluid and confident. He did not panic, he did not hesitate. He adapted, using the terrain, his own body, and his instincts to counter her overwhelming power. The audience erupted into cheers, their excitement echoing across the arena. Humans, once dismissed as weak, had proven themselves capable of standing against the most feared warrior in the galaxy. Lyrana's pride was bruised, but her respect for Elias grew with every passing moment. "You are extraordinary," she admitted under her breath, barely audible over the roar of the crowd.
"I see now why humans survive.
Why they endure, why they fight." Elias did not respond. He only stood ready, his eyes calm and unwavering. He had shown strength, skill, courage, and honor. He had fought not just to survive, but to prove something greater: human potential, human spirit, and human resilience. The round ended with a pulse of energy separating the fighters once more. Lyrana stepped back, breathing heavily, her pride still intact, but her perception forever changed. She had underestimated humans, and Elias had shown her the truth. They were capable of far more than anyone in the galaxy had imagined. As she lowered her blade and glanced at Elias, she saw something she had not expected: a warrior unshaken, fearless, and dignified. And in that look, she realized that the next round would be even more challenging. The fight was far from over, and both warriors knew that the true test was only beginning. For the first time, Lyrana faced an opponent who made her think, who made her adapt, and who earned her respect. And for the first time, she wondered if humans were not just survivors, but a force that the galaxy had been foolish to overlook. The second round had ended, but the story of human courage and determination was only beginning. The arena buzzed with energy. Spectators from countless worlds leaned forward on their floating platforms, eyes wide with anticipation. The first two rounds had shattered expectations. A human, a species many considered weak, had faced Lyrana, the feared champion of the Karath Empire, and survived. Not only survived, but he had held his own, countering her strength and skill with nothing but a worn sword and unwavering determination. Lyrana stood at the edge of the fighting zone, breathing heavily. Her energy blade hummed, casting a faint glow across the polished metal floor. She had expected an easy victory, a routine duel to display her supremacy. Instead, she faced a warrior unlike any she had encountered. Elias Rourke approached calmly, adjusting his grip on his blade. He was unshaken, his stance steady, his eyes locked on hers. There was no fear, no hesitation, only determination. Lyrana felt something stir inside her, a mixture of irritation at being challenged and respect for the human's courage. "You are persistent," she said, circling him slowly. "And clever. Far cleverer than most of your species." Elias did not respond with words. His focus remained on the duel. Words were unnecessary. Every glance, every movement, every shift of his weight conveyed his readiness. Lyrana realized that in battle, humans spoke with actions, not words. The signal sounded, marking the start of the next round. The energy walls pulsed, and both warriors advanced. Lyrana struck first, her energy blade a streak of light, faster and more precise than ever. Elias moved with calm efficiency, sidestepping, parrying, and countering. Every strike he blocked seemed effortless, every dodge calculated. For the first time, Lyrana felt the weight of uncertainty. The human before her was not just surviving. He was adapting, learning, and using her own strength against her. It was a concept unfamiliar to her. She was used to overwhelming opponents with power and skill. But Elias relied on intelligence, observation, and timing, proving that raw strength was not always the key to victory. The duel intensified. Lyrana unleashed a rapid series of strikes, each one aimed to test Elias's limits. He met each with precision, never panicking, never retreating. His movements were small, economical, but effective. Lyrana began to notice patterns, subtle but important. He anticipated her actions, adjusting just enough to counter without overextending. "You are adaptable," Lyrana admitted, her voice low, almost a whisper. "I see now why humans endure, why you survive in a galaxy that is often cruel." Elias's eyes met hers briefly, and in that gaze, she saw something she had not expected: respect. Not fear, not awe, but a calm, steady confidence that spoke of experience, training, and belief in oneself. Lyrana realized that humans, though small and underestimated, possessed qualities that many advanced species lacked: resilience, cleverness, and courage. The fight shifted. Lyrana increased her speed, combining power with agility, attempting to force an opening. Elias responded with clever feints and counters, never attacking recklessly, always looking for a way to turn her strength against her. At one point, he sidestepped a massive swing and used her momentum to push her back. The crowd gasped at the display of skill. Lyrana staggered slightly but quickly regained her footing. She could not remember the last time anyone had used her own strength in such a clever way. Her pride urged her to retaliate with even greater force. But another part of her, a quieter, more thoughtful part, admired the human's ingenuity. "You are remarkable," she admitted aloud. "I have faced countless warriors, but few have made me think the way you do." Elias did not smile, nor did he boast. He simply adjusted his stance and moved forward, ready for the next exchange. His calm determination only reinforced Lyrana's growing respect. She realized that he was not just a fighter. He was a strategist, a thinker, a warrior with a mind as sharp as his blade. The duel continued, both combatants moving with a speed and precision that left the audience breathless. Sparks flew as blades clashed. Energy hummed in the air, and the ground beneath them seemed to vibrate with the intensity of their movements. Lyrana's attacks became more complex, more unpredictable, but Elias countered each one, forcing her to adapt constantly. For the first time, Lyrana experienced a different kind of challenge. She had always relied on superior strength and skill to overwhelm opponents, but Elias did not rely on brute force. He relied on observation, timing, and strategy. He did not waste energy, and he did not panic. He waited for openings, created opportunities, and acted with precision. "You think differently than I expected," Lyrana said, her voice heavy with both frustration and admiration. "Your mind is as sharp as your blade." Elias did not answer. He only moved, fluid and precise, countering a swift strike and pushing her back slightly. Lyrana stumbled but quickly recovered. She realized that each moment in this duel was a lesson. She had underestimated humans, and now she was learning that their strength was not always visible, but it was formidable. The arena seemed to pulse with energy as the fight continued. Spectators whispered among themselves, astonished by what they were witnessing. Humans, long dismissed as weak and fragile, were proving themselves capable of standing against the most feared warrior of the Karath Empire. The crowd erupted with every clever counter, every avoided strike. Every moment Elias matched Lyrana's might with skill and intelligence. Lyrana's attacks became more aggressive, more daring. She attempted a spinning strike, a combination of speed and power designed to overwhelm him. Elias met it with calm precision, deflecting her blade and using the momentum to pivot, positioning himself for a counterattack. The technique was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it forced Lyrana to pause and reconsider. For the first time, she hesitated mid-strike. She realized that Elias's strength was not just in his skill but in his mind. He was not predictable, not careless, and not intimidated by her power. He was human, yes, but he was exceptional. "You have earned my respect," Lyrana admitted, lowering her energy blade slightly.
"Few have made me admit that so quickly." Elias did not respond with words.
His actions had already spoken louder than any speech could. He remained steady, ready, and determined. The respect between them, though unspoken, was clear. A bond was forming, forged in the heat of combat, built on recognition of skill, courage, and honor. The fight escalated further. Lorana used advanced techniques she had rarely shown outside the arena, blending speed, agility, and strength in a deadly combination. Elias adapted, using his understanding of timing and strategy to counter. Each move became a test of wit and will, a battle not just of strength but of intelligence and resilience. The spectators watched in awe. Humans, underestimated and dismissed, had proven themselves capable of extraordinary feats. Every strike, every dodge, every counter displayed not just skill but the essence of human courage, the determination to face challenges, to endure and to rise above expectations. Lorana felt a strange mix of frustration and admiration. She had entered the arena expecting an easy victory, ready to humiliate her opponent. Instead, she faced a warrior who forced her to think, to adapt, and to acknowledge the strength of a species she had long underestimated. "You are unlike any opponent I have faced," she admitted, her voice quiet, almost reflective. "Your courage, your intelligence, it is remarkable." Elias adjusted his stance slightly, a subtle movement that conveyed readiness without arrogance. Lorana realized that his focus and calm demeanor were part of what made him such a formidable opponent. He did not fight for glory or to prove superiority. He fought because he believed in something greater: honor, courage, and the strength of his people. The round continued, both warriors moving with skill, speed, and precision. Lorana's attacks were fierce, but Elias met each one with clever counters and perfect timing. The duel had transformed from a battle of strength into a battle of minds, a test of strategy, endurance, and willpower. Finally, a moment of balance arrived. Both warriors paused, breathing heavily, their blades close but not striking. Lorana looked at Elias, seeing not an inferior human but a warrior worthy of recognition. She had scoffed at humans before, dismissed them as weak, but now she saw the truth. They were resilient, clever, courageous, and capable of earning respect through determination and skill. "You have proven something extraordinary today," Lorana said, her voice steady, her pride tempered by admiration. "I underestimated your species. I see now. Humans are not to be dismissed." Elias nodded slightly, acknowledging her words not with pride but with quiet dignity. He had shown skill, courage, and honor. He had earned respect, not through arrogance but through determination, intelligence, and action. The round ended with a pulse of energy that temporarily separated the fighters. Both took a step back, breathing heavily, their mutual respect clear to all who watched. The crowd erupted into cheers, applauding not only the display of combat skill, but the recognition of human potential. For the first time, Lorana saw humans differently. They were not weak, nor simple, nor inferior. They were capable, intelligent, and brave. And the human warrior before her, Captain Elias Rourke, had proven that in ways she could not ignore. The duel was far from over, but the foundation had been laid. Respect had been earned, and in the quiet moments before the next round, both warriors knew that the coming battles would test them ire. The arena was alive with energy. Spectators from countless worlds leaned forward on their floating platforms, eyes fixed on the battle below. Lorana and Elias faced each other again, their movements measured yet charged with intensity. Every spectator could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation of what was about to unfold. Lorana adjusted her stance, her armored boots clinking against the polished arena floor. Her energy blade hummed softly, glowing brighter as she focused. The human before her, Elias Rourke, stood calm, holding his worn but sharp blade firmly. He did not flinch, did not tremble, and did not underestimate her. He had proven himself in the previous rounds, and now he was ready to push further. The signal sounded, a pulse of energy that marked the start of the fourth round. Both warriors advanced at the same moment. Lorana struck first, her energy blade a streak of light. Elias responded with agility and strategy, sidestepping her attacks, using her own momentum to his advantage. Every move was precise, calculated, and full of purpose. "You are persistent," Lorana said, circling him slowly. "And clever. I see now why humans endure." Elias remained silent, letting his actions speak. He had learned from the previous rounds that words were unnecessary in battle. Observation, adaptation, and precision were stronger than any boast. Lorana increased her speed, combining strength with agility in a series of strikes meant to overwhelm. Elias parried, countered, and moved with a grace that belied his size. He did not match her strength with brute force. Instead, he used timing, positioning, and strategy. Every strike he blocked, every dodge he executed, demonstrated a mind capable of reading patterns and exploiting opportunities. The crowd gasped as Elias deflected a spinning strike, using her momentum to create an opening. Lyrana stumbled slightly, caught off guard by his ingenuity. For the first time, she felt a flicker of doubt. This human was not just surviving, he was challenging her in ways no one had before. "You fight differently than I expected," she admitted under her breath, a mixture of frustration and admiration in her tone. "Your mind is as sharp as your blade." Elias's eyes met hers briefly, a silent acknowledgement of respect passing between them. No words were needed. He had proven himself through action, and Lyrana could no longer ignore the truth. Humans were not weak. They were resourceful, intelligent, and brave. The duel escalated. Lyrana attacked with a series of complex moves, each faster and sharper than the last. Elias adapted, his responses precise and effective. At one point, he feinted left, then struck from the right, forcing Lyrana to react quickly. She blocked, but the momentary hesitation allowed him to push her back slightly. Lyrana gritted her teeth. She had always relied on strength and skill to dominate, but Elias's tactics were making her think differently. He did not rely on power. He relied on cleverness, timing, and insight. The realization both frustrated and fascinated her. "You are extraordinary," she muttered. "Few have made me think during battle." Elias adjusted his stance, a subtle movement that conveyed readiness without arrogance. He had learned that Lyrana's attacks were predictable in their unpredictability. She used patterns she thought hidden, but he observed, adapted, and found openings. The fight was no longer just a test of strength. It was a battle of minds. Lyrana pressed forward, her strikes faster and more forceful, trying to break through his defenses. Elias responded calmly, blocking and dodging with precision. He did not panic, did not overextend, and did not waste energy. His movements were deliberate, focused, and strategic. The crowd watched in awe. Humans had long been underestimated, dismissed as weak and fragile. Yet here was Elias, standing tall against the champion of the Karath Empire. Every move he made displayed courage, skill, and intelligence. He was human, yes, but he was exceptional. Lyrana's pride was challenged. She had faced countless warriors, but few had tested her in this way. She realized that she needed to adapt, to think differently, to recognize that brute force alone would not guarantee victory. Elias had shown her that strength was not just about power, it was about intelligence, courage, and determination. The duel reached a new level of intensity. Lyrana used her full speed, combining agility, strength, and technique. Elias met every strike, every block, every parry with calm precision. He was not just reacting. He was anticipating, predicting, and countering. His skill and ingenuity forced Lyrana to adjust constantly, keeping her on edge. At one point, Lyrana executed a spinning attack meant to overwhelm him. Elias sidestepped, using her momentum to push her slightly off balance. She stumbled but quickly recovered, realizing that each moment with him was a lesson. He was teaching her that victory was not just about power. It was about strategy, observation, and adaptability. "You have earned my respect," Lyrana admitted aloud. "Few have made me admit that in battle." Elias remained focused, his calm demeanor unwavering. He had shown strength, skill, and courage, and now he had earned the respect of one of the galaxy's greatest warriors. The bond between them, forged in combat, was growing stronger. Mutual respect replaced mockery and arrogance, creating a foundation that neither had expected. The arena seemed to pulse with energy as the duel continued. Sparks flew as blades clashed, and the ground beneath them vibrated with the intensity of their movements. Lyrana pressed harder, using advanced techniques she had rarely displayed outside elite combat arenas. Elias adapted seamlessly, using strategy and insight to counter her every move. The spectators were captivated. Humans, long underestimated, had proven themselves capable of extraordinary feats. Every strike, every dodge, every counterattack showed that courage, intelligence, and determination could rival even the mightiest warriors in the galaxy. Lyrana's attacks became more aggressive, more daring, more creative. She tried to catch Elias off guard with sudden feints and unpredictable angles. Elias met each challenge calmly, using his understanding of timing and strategy to respond effectively. His skill and composure were a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. "You are unlike any opponent I have faced," Lyrana admitted, her voice reflecting both frustration and admiration. "Your courage, intelligence, and skill, it is remarkable." Elias adjusted his stance, signaling readiness for her next move. He did not fight for glory or superiority. He fought for honor, determination, and the recognition of human potential. Lyrana realized that his focus, calmness, and cleverness were what made him so formidable. The duel reached its peak. Both warriors moved with speed, precision, and skill that left the audience in awe. Lyrana's attacks were powerful, but Elias countered with intelligence and timing. The battle had evolved from a test of strength to a test of strategy, resilience, and willpower. Finally, a moment of balance arrived. Both fighters paused, breathing heavily, blades close but not striking. Lyrana looked at Elias and saw not an inferior human, but a warrior worthy of recognition. She had scoffed at humans, dismissed them as weak, but now she understood. They were capable, clever, and brave, and Elias had proven that in ways she could not ignore. "You have shown something extraordinary," Lyrana said, her voice steady, her pride tempered by admiration. "I underestimated your species. Humans are not to be dismissed." Elias nodded slightly, acknowledging her words without pride, only dignity. He had earned respect not through arrogance but through determination, intelligence, and action. The round ended with a pulse of energy separating the fighters. Both took a step back, breathing heavily, mutual respect clear to all who watched. The crowd erupted, cheering not only the display of skill but the recognition of human potential. Lyrana's perception had shifted. She no longer saw humans as obstacles. She saw them as worthy opponents, capable of surprising even the most experienced champions. And as she tightened her grip on her energy blade, she felt something new: anticipation, excitement, and a strange sense of camaraderie with the human who had earned her respect. The next round would be decisive. The duel would test their skill, strategy, and endurance like never before. Lyrana knew she would need to rely not just on her strength, but on understanding and adaptation. Elias knew that victory would require more than courage. It would require ingenuity and determination. The arena waited in silence. The next clash would decide more than victory or defeat. It would show whether human courage, intelligence, and resilience could truly stand alongside the mightiest warriors of the galaxy. And Elias, standing calm and ready, prepared to continue the fight that was shaping the destiny of not just himself, but his entire species. The arena trembled with energy, the air thick with anticipation. Spectators from countless worlds leaned forward, eyes wide, breaths held. The duel between Lyrana, champion of the Karath Empire, and Captain Elias Rourke, the human warrior who had already surpassed expectations, had become legendary in the galaxy. No one present had ever witnessed a fight like this, and many whispered that humans might finally be recognized as true warriors. Lyrana stood at the center of the arena, her energy blade humming softly, casting a glow over her armor. She had learned much over the previous rounds. Strength alone could not guarantee victory. Strategy, observation, and adaptability mattered as much as raw power. But more than that, she had come to respect her opponent not as a human, not as a member of a species she once dismissed, but as a warrior equal to herself in courage and skill. Elias Rourke approached calmly, his sword steady in his hands. His armor was simple, his weapon worn, but the strength in his resolve was unmatched. He did not rush, did not shout, and did not boast. Every step he took reflected confidence, strategy, and honor. The signal sounded for the final round. The energy walls pulsed with brilliant light, signaling that this confrontation would determine not only victory, but the legacy of both warriors. Lyrana advanced first, her energy blade a streak of glowing power. Elias met her movement with calm precision, sidestepping and deflecting her strikes with measured skill. "You are extraordinary," Lyrana admitted as they exchanged blows. "I have faced countless warriors, but none have challenged me as you have." Elias said nothing, only focused on the duel. His actions spoke louder than words. Every block, every dodge, every counterattack demonstrated his intelligence and skill. Lyrana's strikes grew faster, more complex, and yet Elias adapted, anticipating her movements and finding subtle openings. The duel was no longer a mere test of strength. It had become a battle of minds and wills. Lyrana realized that brute force alone would not win this fight. She needed strategy, observation, and creativity, the very qualities she had once assumed humans lacked. A swift combination of attacks from Lyrana forced Elias to retreat slightly, but he used the opportunity to create an opening. With a clever movement, he countered, forcing Lyrana to take a step back. For the first time in the duel, Lyrana felt a twinge of vulnerability. The human before her was not just skilled, he was unpredictable, intelligent, and unafraid. "You fight with purpose," she said, her voice carrying across the arena. "It is not just skill that makes you formidable, but your mind and spirit." Elias moved forward, his eyes focused. He did not strike recklessly, nor did he underestimate her. Every action was deliberate, every movement designed to test her resolve and create opportunities. Lyrana realized that his calmness under pressure, his adaptability, and his unwavering courage were qualities that few in the galaxy possessed. The arena pulsed with energy as the duel reached its peak. Sparks flew as their blades clashed, each strike echoing like thunder. Lyrana unleashed her full strength, combining agility, speed, and technique in a relentless assault. Elias met every challenge with precision, using strategy and insight to counter her attacks. The spectators watched in awe. Humans, once dismissed as weak, had proven themselves capable of feats that rivaled the greatest warriors of the galaxy. Every block, every dodge, every counterattack displayed intelligence, courage, and resilience. The crowd erupted with cheers, celebrating the unexpected heroism of a human warrior. Lyrana pressed harder, using advanced techniques she rarely displayed outside elite combat arenas. Elias adapted seamlessly, countering her moves with clever feints and precise timing. Their duel had become a test not only of skill but of endurance, strategy, and willpower. "You have earned my respect," Lyrana admitted aloud, her voice calm but firm. "You have shown strength, courage, and intelligence that few could match." Elias did not respond verbally. His focus remained unwavering, his determination clear in every movement. He had fought with honor, skill, and intelligence, and now he had earned the recognition of one of the galaxy's greatest warriors. The duel continued, each move more calculated and precise than the last. Lyrana attacked with a combination of speed and power, while Elias used his adaptability to turn her strength against her. At one moment, he blocked a spinning strike and positioned himself perfectly to counter. Lyrana adjusted quickly, but she could not hide the admiration growing in her heart. "You are remarkable," she said softly. "Not just a warrior, but a strategist, a thinker, and an inspiration." Elias nodded slightly, acknowledging her words with quiet dignity. He did not boast. He did not seek glory. He fought not only for himself, but for his people, for honor, and for the proof that humans could rise above expectations. The arena seemed to hold its breath as the duel reached its climax. Lyrana advanced with a series of rapid strikes, her energy blade moving like lightning. Elias met her with precise parries and well-timed counters, forcing her to adapt continuously. Every movement was a test, every strike a lesson, every block a display of human ingenuity. Finally, they paused, standing close, blades raised but not striking. Lyrana looked into Elias's eyes and saw not arrogance, not fear, but determination, respect, and honor. She realized that this human had changed her perception, not only of humans, but of what it meant to be a warrior. "You fight not for dominance," she said, lowering her blade slightly. "You fight for honor, courage, and your people. That is true strength." Elias did not lower his sword, but his stance softened. He had proven himself not through brute force, but through intelligence, courage, and integrity. The duel had been a testament to human resilience and spirit, and now even the champion of the Karath Empire acknowledged it. Lyrana took a deep breath and stepped back fully, lowering her energy blade. "I yield," she said clearly, her voice carrying across the arena. "Not because you are stronger than I am, but because you have shown me the value of skill, courage, and honor. Humans, you are a force the galaxy must respect." The crowd erupted into cheers, applause echoing across the floating platforms. Aliens whispered among themselves, astonished at what they had witnessed. Humans, long underestimated, had proven themselves capable of extraordinary feats. Captain Elias Rourke had not only survived against a champion, but had earned the respect of one of the most feared warriors in the galaxy. Elias finally lowered his sword completely, offering a gesture of peace. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For the fight, for the lesson, and for your respect." Lyrana studied him for a moment. She had expected arrogance, pride, or even contempt from humans. Instead, she found humility, courage, and honor. Slowly, she extended her hand, offering her own gesture of acknowledgement. "Humans," she said softly, "you have changed my perception. You fight not just to survive, but to inspire, to protect, and to endure. You have my respect, and perhaps my friendship." Elias shook her hand firmly, a bond forming between them that went beyond the duel. It was a connection forged in battle, respect, and recognition of shared courage. In that moment, a new understanding began to grow, not only between two warriors, but between their peoples. The spectators cheered louder than ever. Aliens from countless worlds witnessed a moment that would be remembered for generations. Humans had proven their worth not through power, but through ingenuity, courage, and honor. Lyrana's respect for Elias symbolized a turning point in interstellar relations, a recognition that humans, though often dismissed, could rise to greatness. As the arena emptied and the energy walls faded, Lyrana and Elias walked side by side. Their duel had ended, but the story of mutual respect, understanding, and potential alliance was just beginning. The galaxy had seen a human warrior stand against a champion, and the perception of an entire species had begun to change. "You have taught me something today," Lyrana said quietly. "That strength is not always visible, and that courage and intelligence can rival even the greatest power in the galaxy." Elias nodded. "And you have reminded me," he said, "that respect is earned, not given. Even the strongest can learn from others." Together they looked toward the stars, a shared understanding in their eyes. The duel had ended, but the bond forged in combat, the respect earned, and the potential for cooperation would shape the future of humans and the Karath Empire alike. In the quiet moments after the battle, both warriors knew one thing: this was not the end. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one in which humans were no longer underestimated, one in which courage, intelligence, and honor could change perceptions, and one in which allies were made through respect, not fear. The arena's energy faded, leaving only the two warriors standing together, a symbol of hope, honor, and the limitless potential of humanity. And the galaxy would remember.